She started a non-profit helping those in foreclosure in 39 states. She'll tell you her story next on It's a Lifestyle. Stay tuned. Hello, I'm Gina Woodham. Welcome to It's a Lifestyle, where we interview people with interesting careers and hobbies, which for my guests, it's more than a career, becomes a lifestyle, and I'm hoping my guests inspire some of you to gather your hidden talents and aspirations to build your own unique career. We are talking to founder of Operation Restoration, Anne Batte. But then there was something that you thought, I need to get more involved.
Yes.
I need to start my Operation Restoration.
Yes.
So where did all of that take us down that path?
In like February 2008, I saw Jay Watson as a reporter with 11 Alive and on the Fulton County Courthouse steps, and there were like 2,000 foreclosures going on the steps in one day for auction. And I said, what in the heck happened while I was gone? And so I turned off the TV and I was like, that's it. I'm going to do whatever I need to do. I'm jumping in. And I didn't know what it was going to be, but I had a vision, and I wrote the Federal Reserve Bank president, Dennis Lockhart, and do you know he immediately wrote back? And I was like this peon. It was just amazing to me. They spent 6 hours with me explaining to me what the real system was really, really going on, and that's what we're going to discuss later on.
So let's start from the top. Let's talk about some of the initial mistakes that snowballed and caused this great debacle in our country with all these foreclosures.
Well, the big word is securitization. So I'm going to do the best I can to explain it in a short period of time. In the old system, when a homeowner paid their mortgage every month, the money went to their local lender. Since mortgages took decades to pay, lenders were careful. Well, in the new system, in the early 2000s, regulations on lending were so relaxed that loans were being pumped out like left and right. It seemed that almost anyone could get a house, and you remember that. So, created a formula for disaster. Mortgage brokers were offered incentives by financial institutions for selling the most profitable products. And so there were all these risky loans being pumped out, and you've heard the term subprime. Well, lenders didn't.
We've all heard the word subprime.
Yes, predatory lending, subprime. Well, lenders didn't care anymore about whether a borrower could repay because they were going to sell them off anyway. So that this was a green light to just pump loans out. So I'm going to show you that diagram. Lenders sold the mortgages to investment banks just as fast as possible, making all these huge profits. And the investment banks actually preferred subprime loans because they carried higher interest rates. And this led to a massive increase in predatory lending. Borrowers were needlessly placed in expensive subprime loans. The investment banks combined thousands of mortgages and other loans, including car loans, student loans, credit card debt, to create these complex investments that we're going to call derivatives into these big wholesale things called collateralized debt obligations. So that's on the diagram. The investment banks then sold the CDOs, or these big investments, to investors. Well, when homeowners paid their mortgages, the money went to investors all over the world. Well, the investment banks paid rating agencies to evaluate these big investments an AAA or AAA rating, which is the highest possible investment grade. Rating companies had no liability if their ratings on CDOs proved wrong. Well, everybody in this food chain from the very beginning until the end did not care about the quality of the mortgage. They cared about maximizing this volume and just getting a fee out of it. So then to put icing on this, then AIG, the world's largest insurance company, sold these huge quantities of these insurance policies called credit default swaps. And again, the diagram will show you, to investors. Well, that's what was happening, is that these credit default swaps acted like an insurance policy. So if the investments went down or went bad, the investors got paid for the losses.
Wow.
So the investors, and then, I forgot to tell you, then speculators also could buy insurance policies or credit default swaps on the same investments. So everybody was winning. So these investments went down, and there's insurance policies on. Lending, like I said, it was too loosely regulated. And then also derivatives, these investments, we'll use investments, and then these insurance policies called credit default swaps. I mean, lobbyists were lobbying like crazy against the regulation of those. So that spilled into New York, Wall Street, it spilled into Washington, D.C., and so that's the story. So all these notes were that you sign when you buy your house, they were placed into these investments that people didn't know. And so now they don't even know where the notes are a lot of times, or who owns the note, or who owns a portion of the note.
What were some of the biggest scams?
Well, you've heard of the companies that came out, or people that came out, and they guaranteed that they could do a loan modification. You can't guarantee that because these investments, some of the pooling and service agreements don't even allow a modification. And then servicers on top of that were saying you have to be late in order for us to modify your loan.
Oh, I did hear that.
Yeah, so they didn't even tell people that there's a possibility that if you are late that we can't modify the loan because the agreements say that we can't modify. And then all of a sudden it was like nobody was asking the right questions, and so the right questions are what type of loan do you have, and then what formulas are you using?
Can you tell me, why aren't people going to jail? Why aren't our congressmen? Why aren't some of our officials? Why aren't some of our lawyers?
I don't know, because of all of the debacle, as you said, they didn't know where the notes were or whatever. There is a reason why you're hearing about robo-signing and forged notaries and forged documents that are being recorded. And I mean, follow the money trail. They don't know where it is, so they have to kind of bluff it in order to foreclose. And then the wrong entities are foreclosing, and you have to look at scams. Now,
what can people do that are watching? What can they do to help?
They can call, and we need funding.
Your website.
They can call us and then also look at the website. This is a website that is a teaching website. OperationRest.org. So a single OperationRest.org. It's a Clark Howard endorsed site. It is a resource of truthful information, best practices. It was developed by insiders from Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Federal Reserve, FHA, Veterans Administration, all of those guys.
And thank you for joining us with It's a Lifestyle. I'm Gina Woodham. Have faith in your dreams, but most importantly, have faith in yourselves. We'll see you next time. Thanks.